4-day, 3-night journey that takes you island hopping between the two ports.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you make friends along the way. You see remote spots that you cannot get to on a day trip, and you really have the experience of a lifetime. And I did all of this with an incredible company called Big Dream Boatman.
I'm Trizzy.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Ticket to Anywhere podcast, bringing you the gear, tools, and tips to equip you for a travel-filled life.
No matter your travel experience or lack thereof, we aim to be your first stop when you're thinking of where to go, how to get there, what to bring, and what to do.
Catch the latest episode every other Wednesday on YouTube or your favorite listening app.
We'd love to connect with you. Find Ticket to Anywhere on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn.
Welcome to another episode of the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Trizzy at Triz Inc.
And I'm Leah, LA in Flights, and I'm repping Palawan on the shirt today.
Oh, man.
Because
Such a nice
today
shirt.
we're going to talk about the only way, I'm kidding, it's not the only way, but the best way, the most unique way, the most fun way to get between the ports of Coron and El Nido in Palawan in the Philippines.
Yes.
And it is by multi-day, overnight boat journey across the Philippine Sea, discovering
the different islands.
And island hopping between the two ports, places that you really can't get to on a day trip.
Yeah.
And this is the ultimate Philippines experience because, as you'll hear, Palawan has been voted repeatedly the most stunning island on the planet. And it's in the Philippines, so very proud of that. And it's known for diving. It's known for snorkeling. It's known for its white sand beaches, the limestone, the clear waters, the sea life. Yeah. Like, what more could you want, right?
Right, yeah.
And this was my third tour with this incredible company called Big Dream Boatman. And
shout out.
Yeah, shout out to them. They have 3 directions. You can go all around Coron. You can go Coron to El Nido, or you can do the opposite and go El Nido to Coron.
Nice. I've been to both islands, not via Big Dream Boatman. I've done my boat tours out there. And I will say, those boat tours, they do get really crowded. And one thing that I do...
Like the day tours?
The day tours, yeah. I do admire about what Leah has explained in this episode is that you get a lot of the secluded islands to yourself, or with your group, obviously. And I'm like, that's what I need.
You love it. It's so funny because during the tour, we'd always poke fun lovingly at the people that jump. Like, we wouldn't even be fully anchored and they'd be gone off the boat. And I feel like Triz would be one of those people.
I wish.
She'd be like, we'd be approaching and like snorkel mask and fins already on. And she's like gone.
If the waves are chill.
Yeah. No, mostly like shout out to Leon on our last trip. He was always see ya. The boat hadn't even stopped moving and he was like halfway to the beach already. And we love that. It's like, great. The water babies love it, but it's such a cool and unique way to see the Philippines. Yeah. And all I ever want to do when I go to the Philippines is be on a boat. And, Big Dream Boatman, shout out to you because you help me achieve that every time.
Yeah.
I just want to be on a boat every day.
And you, like, right off the bat, that was, like, the first thing you did, I feel like, when you went to the Philippines in January 2020 for the first time. That's how you saw it. So that's, like, the only way that you see the Philippines.
Yeah. I'm like, how do I even go any other way?
How do I walk on land? You're basically Ariel, the mermaid.
Yeah. Exactly. See ya. I'm going to swim between the two ports. See ya.
Nice. Yeah. I love it. Awesome. Well, Big Dream Boatman, you did mention in the episode that they provide coffee and tea every morning for you. They do
provide coffee and tea. Actually, it's unlimited coffee and tea all the time.
Oh,
and
nice.
Water. Yeah. But today I'm drinking a matcha. And as you can see, I love it so much. It's almost gone.
She loves it so much.
I love it so much. But it's the Califia Farms matcha with almond milk, the pre-mixed drink already. Yeah. And I convinced Trizzy to have some as well.
Yeah, so we're drinking both the same drink. For the first time on the Ticket to Anywhere episode, we're drinking the same drink.
Yo.
And it's great. I mean, as long as it's almond milk, that's perfect for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So cheers to that. Cheers to the Philippines, Big Dream Boatman.
Yeah. And whenever you are ready to book your tour on Palawan in the Philippines with Big Dream Boatman, hit the link that we're providing in the comments and book through there. You'd be supporting the locals. You'd also be supporting the show.
Yeah.
As well. Cheers to that. Okay, ready for these chunky turkey legs? These chunky lechon legs?
Yes, give that sisig crispy pata to me.
So did you know
What did I?
the world's best island has 2 massive, beautiful port cities that boast snorkeling, scuba diving, a great jump off point for beaches, and they're known, these 2 places, as Coron and El Nido in Palawan in the Philippines. And I'm not just saying it's the world's best island. Like, it was crowned Miss Universe, you know, on a global stage, the world's best island. Like, these are not my words.
They are remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You vouch for that. I vouch for that.
Yeah, Trizzy's been in the Philippines more than I have because her partner is Filipina.
Yes.
But the reason for it is, you know, it's interesting because Palawan actually sits on a different, did I tell you this? Palawan sits on a different tectonic plate than the rest of the Philippines. That's why they don't get the same earthquakes. They don't get the same weather. That's why it's the world's best island, because it doesn't get like the torrential downpour and the typhoons that the rest of the Philippines gets.
That makes sense.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Coron is one of the most amazing diving spots in the world. I'm not a diver. If you listen to our past 2 episodes, you'll know that. But one of the best diving spots in the world, because there was World War II battles there where the ships have sunk, so you can do the shipwreck dives.
Which we have.
Yeah. And one of them is so shallow that you can actually just like, it's literally like maybe, I don't know, 10 meters.
Yeah.
So you can actually kind of like free dive through one of the ships, which I did. I just snorkeled over it.
Yeah,
you know,
same. Our hearts are too scared for that.
But not only that these 2 jump off points like exist and they're a hub for people to come enjoy the beautiful island of Palawan, but you can also take a 4-day, 3-night journey that takes you island hopping between the 2 ports.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And you make friends along the way. You see remote spots that you cannot get to on a day trip, and you really have the experience of a lifetime. And I did all of this with an incredible company called Big Dream Boatman.
Yeah.
They're based out in Coron in Palawan in the Philippines.
Right. I mean, anywhere that you could just experience sunrise and sunset on the beach to just the intimate group of people. I feel like that experience alone for me is like it's so convincing.
And like, as cheesy as it sounds, like, you know, oh, you become family after 4 days. You do. Okay, you do. You become great friends, and you're sailing the open seas for 4 days. So
that's amazing.
Let's get into it. There's actually a lot of companies that go between Coron and El Nido, the 2 most famous ports in Palawan. There's quite a few now, right? Because these boats, these companies, these people, these sailors, they know how to navigate those waters. But people will usually they'll fly between the 2 ports, which is fine. Just looked up pricing for this month. It's about $90. You got to take Air Swift between the 2 airports, because that is the only airline that flies into El Nido in the Philippines.
I had a great experience with them.
Okay. So and you flew from?
I flew from, where do we
Manila.
go from? Manila to
El Nido. Okay, so you can fly between Coron and El Nido.
Yeah.
That's 40 minutes, about $90, like I said. Or probably one of the most popular ones, if you're a little bit more on a budget, you have a little bit more time, you can take like the cargo ferries. The 2 most popular ones are Atienza or Montenegro. They're about $55 to $60, and that takes about 5 hours.
Oh.
So if you get a little seasick, I don't know, maybe not for you, because these ferries they're not Lux. You know, they're not Lux. And they only leave on certain days of the week. I mean, as well as the flights. I'm not sure the flights run every day. You'll have to Google that yourself.
Yeah.
But, you know, some of these are limited options. The islands are not connected where Coron and El Nido are. So you can't take a bus or a van. You have to fly, or you have to take the ferry.
Yeah.
Right? But instead, like I said, I chose to take this island hopping tour, which actually this is my third time doing it. I've done so.
Leah did it the Leah way.
I did, yes. So I went on 2 journeys back in January 2020, Feb 2020. They were back to back. And then I just went November 2023, almost 4 years later.
Yeah.
And, you know, I chose Big Dream Boatman as my tour company of choice. You camp in nipa huts every night, which is super cute. You have authentic Filipino food. You have guides that will take you anywhere and show you all the cool things, teach you traditions. They'll hang out with you at night, and you make new friends from all over the world. Like, what more can you ask for, right?
Great, yeah.
So one question Trizzy asked was like, how did I find out about this, right? And in the era, the olden day, I'm not gonna say the golden days because times are changing, but like the olden days of Instagram and content creation, I actually found out about Big Dream Boatman online in like 6 years ago.
Okay.
Right? On social media. Through another travel content creator. I think I saw a few, you know, and it kept popping up for me. And like I said, all the trips between Coron and El Nido are 4 days, 3 nights. You could do either port, you could do vice versa, whichever one you're in first, go to the other one. You know, it doesn't matter. There is also a 2-day, 3-night trip that you could do around Coron.
Do they have one of that for El Nido as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
So El Nido, if you ever get to El Nido, you'll find out the tours are really popular that you did. Tour A, Tour C. Those are the ones that are like around El Nido.
Okay. Gotcha.
So what Big Dream Boatman, I think they decide to specialize in those like longer haul journeys versus like the day tours.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like sometimes when I'm talking about it on Instagram, TikTok, people are like, well, like, what is it? So like, what is Big Dream Boatman? What is a multi-day journey between the 2 ports?
Yeah.
You sail the open seas for 4 days, making stops along the way, anywhere from 2 to stops during the day. Then right before sunset, right before dinner, you dock at a base camp on an island, and you have about 2 to 3 hours free before dinner.
Okay.
And you can swim to shore, you can kayak to shore, you bring your dry bag full of stuff, right? And you have a bunch of free time before you have like family dinner on the island, and you get your nipa hut. You're either sharing if you're a solo traveler, or if you're partnered up, you get that nipa hut, like obviously with your partner. Okay. Like I said, a lot of these destinations you cannot reach on a day tour because they're so remote.
Yeah. So
every site that you visit during the day is a prime snorkel spot, beach spot, swimming, great destination. Everything you think the Philippines is manifested into like one little island. The scenery is beautiful. The water is crystal clear. You get to see lots of like sea life. If you're lucky, you get to see like the clownfish, the lionfish. Don't touch the lionfish. They're poisonous. The turtles, though, we saw lots of turtles. Oh my gosh, I always see turtles in the Philippines.
Lucky you.
You've never seen a turtle?
Well, I have.
Girl,
I definitely have, but not always.
Okay. I've seen a lot more than I thought I would.
Okay.
Actually.
Nice.
And don't touch them.
Leave them alone.
Yeah. But you also can learn about the locals. You stop by in a village. You can get to talk to them, play basketball with them, hang out with them. Nice. You support the working locals that are sailing on the boat with you. And then you get to experience the unique geography of the Philippines, which Palawan is cool because, and El Nido, you have like the limestone that's pretty rare. You can find it in some areas in Thailand, but Palawan in the Philippines also has it. The rest of the Philippines doesn't really have that kind of cool, like,
that's true,
limestone rock.
Yeah.
Like I said, you dock at camp every night, and it's nice. Like you don't sleep on the boat. You sleep in nipa huts where they're beautiful, like the Bahay Kubo, the breeze is running through them. Yeah. So my first tour, though, in January 2020, I did El Nido to Coron, which is from south to north.
Okay.
And during that tour, our guides were fantastic, but they actually said Coron to Coron they're like, Coron to Coron is actually our favorite tour.
What?
So me and 2 other friends that I still keep in touch with to this day, 4 years later, we got off of that, talked to like the head office and said, hey, like we kind of want to go on another tour. When does the next one leave? And they're like, oh, in 2 days. So we spent an extra 2 days in Coron, hung out, exploring the port, exploring the city, and then immediately left on the Coron to Coron tour a few days later. So it's like back-to-back tours.
Yeah.
Which was so cool. And the Coron to Coron tour, you can even tell like the coral gardens are way crazier. Like, you know, it's a big scuba diving destination, but even the coral gardens and the snorkeling are a whole different level.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's how much we loved it. We're like 3 of us. We're like, let's jump on another one. And we're lucky we had that flex time.
Yeah.
One big tip I'd recommend if you're going to do these multi-day journeys, pad at least 24 hours on each side because you need time to arrive in the port, right? And then you need time, not that they're likely, but if there are delays for whatever reason getting back, you need time to get back. You usually leave when you depart 9, 10 a.m. the morning of. And when you return back to port, the other port, you return about 5 p.m. or so, right? So not that easy to get a flight out that night. Why would you want to? You want to like relish in the boat tour you just did,
stay up
right?
in the Philippines, yeah.
And so people will ask, what's the itinerary like?
Yeah.
Right? For these 4 days. Guess what? No itinerary. No set itinerary is what I mean. Okay. It will change every day. Of course, depending on the weather, as everything does in the Philippines. But that's the coolest part of it is that not every trip is the same. So even I got to compare notes January 2020 to November 2023, how different the tours were. Like 60% of the stops I didn't go on before.
Wow.
So it was a new,
That's good. Yeah.
More than half the stops. And every base camp was different. I had never stayed at any of the base camps.
Nice.
Which was really cool because that means we got to see every island, different islands every night. That's what I think the cool thing about it is, like, they stay flexible so that they can give you the experience of a lifetime. But a lot of them will do too is like switch the itinerary around to kind of avoid the crowds. Oh, so they're like, oh, we're going to do this stop first because we know it's empty in the mornings.
Nice.
Or like, we'll do this stop last because we know people like to go in the mornings. So we'll do it before sunset instead, which is cool. So they kind of fly by the seat as far as itineraries. Like, they have their favorite spots and stuff. Yeah. And they'll make sure you get to kind of like the big name stuff. Right. Big name. It's all out in the middle of, not middle of nowhere, but in the middle of the beautiful Philippine Sea.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just think it's cool how one tour can be different from the tour that went off last week. So everyone gets kind of like a personalized itinerary on that particular trip.
Yeah. So like a person like you could keep going back and seeing new things. Yeah. And plus, Philippines has like, what, 7,000 islands?
Yeah.
It's always going to be new.
It's always going to be new, right?
I love that.
You know, it's kind of fun to wake up that surprise. So like every morning on the bulletin board, they would like show you, they would have what the destinations for the day were.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And then also, like I said, changes dependent on weather. Like there was one stop where we docked. Well, we didn't dock, but we like anchored close to the beach, but the waves were so choppy, right, that only some of the guys actually got out because they were really strong. These particular guys were really strong swimmers. Yeah. And they wanted to snorkel. But they got out, but the rest, the other 13 of us stayed on the boat, just enjoying the sun. Like we would sit on the Bangka, like the side, and we would like rock in the waves, but we would kind of stay close to the boat because the waves were kind of going over our heads. And like we got to chill and drink rum, have a beer. We had snacks. They made us these beautiful like bracelets.
I get that. Yeah.
You know, and we just got to chill, and we actually stayed there for like 2 hours. So we got to like relax. Some people were napping. Some people were just tanning and chatting, and you know, it was nice, and it was beautiful scenery. You could get in the water if you want. They had the option. Yeah. But, you know, or you could try to get to shore if you could swim to shore if you wanted. But yeah. So going back to the boat, traditional boat in the Philippines that can handle the open season, open water like this. It's called a Bangka boat.
Love them.
Yes. And so Big Dream Boatman now has like four or five big Bangka boats, double-decker ones. They have their name on the side now, and they have the nets on the side. So that even when you're sailing and the water's quite calm, you can lie out on the net and like suntan and enjoy the water kind of splashing up. It's so relaxing. And you can just like lie there for however long that particular trip is. And our particular trip had 18 guests plus 11 crew and a sea dog. His name was Zuri.
Oh, you had a puppy with you.
He was so cute. So we had almost like 30 bodies on our boat. Oh, you know? But on the boat, tons of places to sit, relax. be in the sun or be in the shade, luckily, because sometimes, the sun is too much, especially if you're drinking rum.
Yeah.
But there's a full bathroom and shower on board as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's also there's also tons of like clothing lines. So everyone's always hanging their stuff, and the wind.
Yeah.
When you're sailing, it's perfect for drying items out.
Okay.
And whatnot. And yeah, they're beautiful boats, and enough to fit a crew of 30.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
Big enough, right?
So do they max out at, you said 18 people?
I asked them how big the next tour after us was, and they said 19.
Oh, okay.
So I think they try to take
20.
more than 20. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also depending on how big the crew is as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's no other tours at the base camp usually at night?
Sometimes there are other companies.
Okay.
Sometimes, but very rarely. It's never like crowded.
Yeah,
there might be one other tour, but a lot of these tours, they definitely don't take more than like 25 people.
Nice.
Just because, they're big boats. They have to find base camps. And like some companies, I'm not going to mention any of their companies' names because I love Big Dream Boatman a lot. But some other companies have their actual own base camps where no one else can stay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but our like Big Dream Boat hours, Big Dream Boatman, yeah, some nights we shared base camps, some nights we didn't, but we had a big enough crew that we kind of stuck with our crew. We got to know each other,
right?
Yeah. Cool. And so, a lot of people want to ask what's provided, and I think this is vital because I think it reflects the value of the tour, right? Of the 4 days, 3 nights that you're spending. So what you have to do is get yourself to either port, whether you're starting in El Nido or Coron, right? You get yourself to the starting point. I recommend spending a few nights in either El Nido or Coron and enjoying the town and the surrounding area, right?
Yes.
You usually head to meet up at the port at 9 a.m. on the day of departure or so, right? So what else do you get? You get all your meals plus snacks plus unlimited rum, beer, and gin, including mixers.
Wow.
Along with snorkel gear, which includes like the headset, the fins, tour guides, use of paddle boat, use of kayaks as well. Volleyballs, basketballs, kind of any like water activities or beach activities you want to play, right? And the guides who are literally also like free divers, they'll find out the turtles for you. They make jewelry for you. They'll grab, they'll throw you some beers if you're out in the middle of the ocean and you want to drink one. Yeah. They are super knowledgeable. They're all local. And they all are trained to just have a good time and entertain the guests. Yeah. They're wonderful. I'm literally connected on social media with so many of them. They're so much fun.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what's provided, and then a lot of people like to ask what's camp like, right?
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, the camps are like the Bahay Kubo, which is like a standard Philippine house, or like a nipa hut.
Yeah.
So it's this beautiful house that's kind of on stilts, and it's made of strong bamboo that lets the fresh air circulate in and out. And you think like, oh my gosh, am I gonna like fall through the bamboo? You don't. It's very, very, very strong, and the floors are usually reinforced.
Okay.
But we stayed in some incredible huts, but you literally they're like 15 feet above ground.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. So you'd be climbing a ladder, but they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like lovely to wake up to like sunrise. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, all the toilets flush with a button.
Great.
You won't really have to encounter a bucket flush unless something is broken.
Yeah.
Although I do think everyone that goes to the Philippines should try bucket flushing because that's like the real way to do it.
Yeah, I did that in Coron.
Yeah. They're tourist camps, so they're built for tourists. So there's toilets, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay. And they all have space for activities. So sometimes there's volleyball courts, there's karaoke machines there, and this is where you'll usually eat dinner and breakfast the following morning. Okay. So they have like the communal tables or communal areas where everyone can meet up.
Right.
Yeah.
So for a person like me who is not big on seafood, will they have food for me?
Yes. Okay. So you always let them know if there are any allergies or dietary restrictions when you're filling out like your onboarding form after you've paid. And I'm pescatarian personally, so I usually only eat seafood and no other meat. So no like chicken, no lechon, no steak, none of that. But tons of seafood. It's usually seafood and other proteins, veggies, and rice.
Nice.
And then a couple other things. Like there were a lot of like French fries or macaroni salad, and sometimes they'll have sweet desserts and whatnot.
Okay.
But yeah, you just definitely gotta like let them know beforehand. The chefs are incredible when they're so creative. Shout out to Warson, who was our last chef.
Hey.
But he was wonderful. And on the last night, it was really cute because they come eat, the crew eats dinner with you too.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's super nice to just celebrate them and like all the work that they've done the past
for real
4 days for you. Yeah, but super pretty vegetarian friendly.
Okay.
You know, on my last trip, actually January 2020, that we had 2 vegans on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they can, I mean, they can accommodate for it as best as you can. But I think a lot of people know being vegan in the Philippines is still quite difficult, to be honest. I mean, you can find areas, you can find companies that will help. You can find restaurants that will help out with you. But yeah, definitely they'll have. You can have all my chicken, and I'll just have all your crab legs.
Yeah. Good switch off.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'd say the end result is I made freaking 17 new friends on my last trip who we got off the port in El Nido and we hung out for the next 4 days straight in El Nido. And now we're planning reunions in the Netherlands.
That's amazing.
And we just became so cool and kind of close those past 4 days on the boat. And we all really resonated with each other, had a really good time, had so much fun. And now we're planning future meetups. And it's the same. I still keep in touch with some of the people I met from Big Dream Boatman 4 years ago. Yeah. And I think it's a testament to like the kind of environment they create and the relationships that you can create having these incredible life experiences in the Philippines. Yeah. I would never travel between Coron and El Nido any other way than doing this 4-day boat journey. Because now that I've done it twice, plus an extra trip around Coron, I'm like, why would I want to just fly or take the cargo ferry between it? You know, you get to be active and in the sun and see places you wouldn't normally and hear experiences from people from all over the planet. And you get to ask the local guides like their opinion and you get time to talk to them. You know, you're sailing. You get to ask them about life, what it's like in the Philippines, you know?
That's a great local connection.
100%.
Right there.
Yeah.
100%. How are the bugs in the nipa huts?
The bugs in the nipa huts, there are definitely screens. Okay. There are plastic screens, but there are mosquito nets over all the beds as well. You can bring your own mosquito net if you want. But there are mosquito nets over all the beds, and there are plastic screens. Yeah. And to be honest, a couple of our nights were so windy that I don't think the bugs were trying to come in the nipa huts.
Okay,
because
good. I need those windy
was
nights.
Scaring them away. Yeah. But even I went on a couple other multi-day boat tours in the Philippines, and a lot of them, I think Palawan in the north doesn't have that many bugs. Okay. But I still wore kind of like long sleeves to bed just because I'm super prone and actually allergic to bugs. Yeah. So I don't think that bad, but take your normal precautions.
For sure.
You know, but they do have mosquito nets over every mattress.
Did you see any friendly geckos?
Not in the nipa huts.
Oh, okay,
no.
good.
Not in the nipa huts. Like I said, these things are like 15 feet apart. You gotta climb a couple of stories.
But them geckos, they
also climb.
Yeah. For sure. Awesome. Yeah. So as far as like the people that you met, did you see a majority of them that they were solo, or did they come together, or did they come as a family or a group of friends?
Actually, this is a great question. We actually had a lot of couples on our last tour that I just took. But it wasn't actually, one of them was on their honeymoon. Oh, cute. It was really cool. Yeah. Nice. But you know, it wasn't like, and then it was just like me and one other girl that were solo, and then there was like a pair of friends, and then there was also a brother and sister, and then everyone else was a couple. Gotcha. But like we all hung out all the time. Yeah. It wasn't weird and coupley. Like we mixed group all the time, and everyone would get different groups. So the last couple groups I had, the one that was Coron to Coron was actually a lot of Americans, and it's also a smaller group. Coron to Coron, it was like 11 people. Okay. That one only had like 2 couples on it. Okay. And the rest of us were like, one girl was traveling with her mom. Yeah. A few friends there were a couple solo people like myself. So a lot of mix. But one of my friends has like 2 older kids, like teenager age, and she's like, I think my kids would love this if me and my husband went. I was like, yeah, you actually would. Awesome. Yeah. So I think there's no restrictions on like what you come as long as there's space for you on the boat. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
So basically you're just gonna make friends no matter what. Sounds like
you are.
That's amazing.
Think, yeah, and there's all of the dinners are really cool because they're all family style dinners.
Nice.
Yeah. And so as far as like they always take a little bit of a deposit, and then you pay the rest when you check in at the port.
Okay.
On the morning of. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And Big Dream Boatman's usually running like, welcome back discounts and whatnot. So check the site for what the current price is, and the price may fluctuate between high season and lower seasons. And there's obviously part of the year where they don't run, when it's like, the weather is not the greatest, maybe. But whenever you're ready to book, we're going to drop the link in the comments here. Honestly, this is an experience you don't want to miss. You got to do this when you go to Palawan. You've got to do this when you go to the Philippines. I'm making her go with me next year.
Let's go. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the only way I want to travel between Coron and El Nido.
That's great. Yeah. I'll have like a morning workout session for the group.
Oh, you would love it. Well, you know what's crazy? Some of the actually they would probably love that. But apparently I was waking up late compared to everyone else. I was waking up at like 6 a.m.
What?
And then like everyone else, because the sun rises really early.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, they're like, I can't sleep anymore. So people were like, I was walking around at 5 a.m. And I would walk down to dinner, to breakfast at 7 a.m. They're like, wow, you slept in, Leah. I was like, excuse me?
You had a rough night.
You would love it, yeah. Because the sun rises at 5. So
that's great.
There's a ton of people that were early risers, and they were just like walking around the beach at 5 a.m. with their coffee. And they got the coffee ready for you and everything already.
That's great.
Oh, yeah. Unlimited coffee and tea.
Ooh.
Coffee, tea, and water.
Coffee, tea, and water. Stay hydrated, y'all, for
sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
When you did Coron to Coron, did you leave your stuff at like a hotel? Or
yeah. This is actually a great question, like logistical question. So all your big luggage, they put under the boat, and they stow it away basically in the luggage storage.
Okay.
Now, generally what they tell you to do is pack a 20 or 30 liter dry bag for the 4 days. So I have this incredible Earth Pack. I'll link it as well. Earth Pack 30 liters. It has the backpack strap on it, and it's bright yellow, so you could see it from a mile away. And it's the roll top. And for me, I've fit like 4 or 5 days worth of clothing in it. Mind you, we're in the Philippines, so you're wearing a bathing suit and a sarong the entire time.
Yeah.
But I fit all my essentials in it, and then I put my big Cotopaxi down at the bottom with all the luggage.
Okay.
They can get stuff out for you if you need it from your luggage, but obviously, like, I don't want to trouble them with that, so I put basically everything I needed in my 30 liter dry pack for the next 4 days. And so that, like, the day dry pack will go on top of the board, or on top of the board. What am I trying to say?
On top of the...
It's going like
with
on
you.
board. Yeah. And so you can move it, there's places to put your luggage, you can move it around, but usually they're on like the padded seats on the side. And I just unhook it and rehook it back so that it doesn't fly around, just in case the boat gets a little rocky.
Okay.
So
good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, they can reach into your luggage and get things if you need them, but I just carry everything with me in my 30 liter dry bag.
Nice. Prepared. Definitely.
I actually brought 5 dry bags to the Philippines this trip. Yeah.
For her gear, for her makeup.
Yeah, I did. I put dry bags in dry bags so that I was like, this is not getting wet. No, thank you. No, ma'am.
Man, that's great. I mean, from the first time you went, you already convinced me. But for me,
it's just taking you 5 years to go.
It's taking me. We'll see how much longer. But I'm so down to try it.
Your biggest reservation is the Nipa hut.
It is,
right?
Yeah, because I stayed in a Nipa hut in the Philippines, in Bali, and I got some friendly geckos trying to cuddle with me.
Did you really? Yeah. I saw 0 geckos.
Lucky you.
In the Nipa huts.
Unless maybe the more I fear, they like feel. They
love fear. They're like, let me go munch on this. So y'all leave your fear at the ports. Because
or underneath with your bags.
You're so funny. I'm like scared of the insects, not the geckos.
Well, both for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So double fear.
Yeah, double fear. So they seek me out even more.
Yeah, dude. They smell the fear from a mile away. But I guarantee you 2025 is going to be her year, yo.
Ooh,
I'm going to get her out there.
Yeah.
Her and Maui.
Yeah.
Do you think Maui's more inclined?
I think she'll be more
You know
down.
what? Forget you. Me and Maui will just go.
I'll just meet you guys air swift. Meet you at the airport.
Boring. You're like, what'd you do in El Nido for 3 days by yourself?
I had binoculars looking down at each of the islands from the airplane. Yeah.
I just think like I know, obviously we know each other very well. Like the pure nature aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like we would anchor and people just jump off.
Yeah.
And like they're off. They're swimming. They're
That's
snorkeling.
great.
Like it's just amazing. And at each stop you get at least an hour to like explore. You can go on the beach. You could some people stay on the boat. They're like, I'm tired. I don't feel well. You could be in the water the whole time. You can do whatever you want with your time there. But they're like, okay, we got an hour here and then we'll take off again.
Right. Because you're in the salt water basically the whole day. Did you feel like icky?
I mean, I showered pretty much every time I got back on.
Okay.
Not showered, but I like rinsed with
off.
the fresh water when I got back on board. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, you know what I really loved? Dude, this was, we want to talk about customer service. Every time we came back in from the water, there would be one of the guides standing at the water dispenser handing us a glass.
Nice.
As we, like a single file line. Yeah. And it was like a nice size glass, like enough to just chug it back once. But I was like, this is great because they're watching out for our health, you know?
Yeah.
So
see,
it was really like the customer service is top notch. And I love how there's like a little bulletin board too. We'll throw some pictures up here on it, but a bulletin board, it showed everyone's like first names and what country they're from. And then it showed the itinerary and then all the names of the crew too.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to be like, put Ticket to Anywhere podcast next to my name.
Yeah, but it was really, I see the way they've elevated in the last 4 years, which is cool seeing the difference now. Yeah. And one of the biggest things is they now accept card payment. Wow. Which is a big thing.
At the port.
Yes.
Oh,
that's why I
huge.
Said. Yeah, huge. Because y'all, if you knew me 4 years ago, I'd have to rock up with so many pesos. And I'm like, the ATMs won't even dispense me this amount of pesos. You know what I mean? So you have to like collect pesos for a week. But they take card now. Thank you, Big Dream Boatman.
Thank you. Yeah. That's great.
But if you're ready to book, check out the link in the comments. We'll also link some of the reels and TikToks that I've created because honestly, I can't speak more highly of them. Captain, Warson, G, Aldrin, Paul, Daniel, anyone I've ever sailed with on Big Dream Boatman, you are all literally the reason I've come back again and again. And, you know, I can't speak highly enough of them.
Yeah.
So truly the best experience in the Philippines.
For sure. Salamat.
Salamat po.
This is Trizzy at Triz Inc.
This is Leah at LA in Flight.
To find even more travel tips on budgeting, destinations, and our favorite items, sign up for our monthly newsletter, The Check-In, linked in the show notes or description.
This is the Ticket to Anywhere podcast. Thanks for listening.